Last August, during one morning meditation session, I had a heartfelt moment of accountability that blew manifestation wide open for me. I realized that I've been calling all these new things into my life, but I hadn't really created any room for them. I did not have the capacity to hold them. Let's talk about it. So I had just finished a cycle of rest. I believe that life ebbs and flows. You have seasons of rest, you have seasons of expansion. This particular season of rest was really difficult for me because it was the first time that I was having a conscious season of rest where I knew that this was meant to be a season of rest and enjoyment of the life that I had worked to create for myself before moving on to the next phase of expansion. And it was really hard to do because I was so accustomed to just expansion. But once I realized, okay, I'm just meant to be in a season of rest right now and just appreciation for what my life looks like, I leaned into it. But that morning, it had been maybe about 3 months where I had realized that I was ready to move into a season of expansion. My life was ready. The universe was nudging me. I felt ready. And so I had already sat down and decided or envisioned what I wanted my next chapter to look like, the things that I wanted to call into my life, without really giving any thought to the fullness of my life as it existed in that moment. I didn't really think about the fact that maybe I would have to let some things go in order to create room in my life. And that morning, I realized it. I was like, I'm sitting here asking for a partnership. And by the end of the day, I don't have the emotional capacity for it. I am overstimulated. I want to sit on my couch. I want to watch TV or read a book or scroll on social media. So I really need to be honest with myself. This experience taught me two things. One thing is that this is not often talked about in manifestation. You absolutely should dream up your best life imaginable, but you have to also realize that the other half of that, literally the other side of that coin, is having the room for it in your life, physically and emotionally, having the capacity to not only receive it, but also continue to hold it. I didn't realize that. The other thing that I learned from that is that I needed to let go of some things that I had been holding on very closely to in my life. One of those things was my business that I had established in 2019. I had built from the ground up. It given me some wonderful lessons, some wonderful memories. But speaking purely from a logical standpoint, the business had run its course. I realized this during my entrepreneurial journey with this business, is that you create something and you have a vision for what it's going to look like in the future and what it's going to become, but it really takes on a life of its own. And sometimes it doesn't align with the vision that you had for it. I had the vision that this business would be a part of my legacy, that it would live beyond me. But the reality and what actually happened was that this business was a season, and it was for a very specific season of who I was. And I grew faster than the business did. There were external elements that caused the business to be in a place where it wasn't necessarily thriving. But there were also internal elements, as in I loved the product line. I loved what it meant for my customers, but it didn't light me up the way that it once did. I grew beyond it, and I was feeling called to do more, called to do something different. And I just was refusing to answer that call. I just wanted to be focused on what I was trying to call into my life and not focus on what I needed to let go of. So that really made me stop and look at that component of manifestation too. Part of it is having a clear vision of what it is that you want to call in. The other part is making peace with what you need to let go of in order to create room. I also looked at my daily life. If I'm calling in a new business venture, if I'm calling in a new partnership, do I have room for these things? Realistically, What does my day look like if I did have room? And then I just started doing different things with my time in the evenings. Like I started going for walks or, going out more to social gatherings, picking up hobbies, reading books. I was creating more emotional space so that I could hold the partnership when it came in, creating more creative space mentally so that I could envision what I wanted my next business venture to look like. And I couldn't do that if I was overwhelmed and overstimulated by 5 o'clock every day. If my weekends looked like catching up on sleep and doing chores, and really framed around that and not framed around the opportunity for spontaneity. And I'm really not sitting here speaking to you from a place of, oh, I figured this out. I created the room and I received everything. I'm more in a place where I know that I've created the room for it. And yes, some new things have manifested, but not all the things that I desired have manifested themselves. But I feel good knowing that I have created the room for them. I wish I had known that at the beginning of my manifestation journey. And so I really felt like it was important to share that aha moment with others so that there is just like this bigger picture to what you need to do to manifest the things that you desire. And a big part of that is creating room for it. I think it's a very loving thing for the universe to say, I absolutely want to give you everything that it is that you desire, but right now you don't have room for it. So I can't send it to you. I won't send it to you because that is a very unloving thing to do. So yeah, I'm just not rushing what's next anymore. I'm really more focused on making sure that my life can hold it when it gets here. If you're someone that is currently in a manifestation cycle or leaving a rest cycle and wanting to move into an expansive cycle in your life, maybe this is a thought that you should sit with too.